digital. Take a break. Saturday, Sunday, Sunday being like Sabbath day, or Saturday being Sabbath, Sunday being the beginning of the week and all that stuff. Take a break from digital on those days. Maybe it'll do you some good, maybe it won't, whatever. I know that most of the time I get stuck on the digital, but I'm going to really try this weekend to take a break from the devices. A little device break, because it's probably, after studying this song, it's ending up to be a pretty apocalyptic, it's very insightful, this next song that I'm going to share with you. This song is 12 Days of Christmas. And very interesting with this song, it's a very Christian song. And this is 2020, and we're on the verge of the Great Reset. The Great Reset is brought to you by atheists. And atheists, if you don't know, it means that there's no God. There's no God to them. There's no God to them. So it's kind of like in arrhythmia, in the medical terminology, arrhythmia is like there's no rhythm. It's like a heart attack, or your heart is missing a beat. Let's get a little insight from this song. This is Vox.com, and I actually printed out this information from a Catholic website before, so I'm very familiar with this. And it's the 12 Days of Christmas. I have to be honest, I haven't been listening to any Christmas songs this year, which is kind of a bummer, because okay, I take that back. The Christian channel that I listen to on the radio in LA is K-Love. It's 100.3, and they're playing regular songs, regular contemporary Christmas, Christian, whatever. The songs are all mixed up, but let me tell you about the 12 Days of Christmas. The 12 Days of Christmas, as you know, everyone knows, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. That's the first thing. Let's keep in mind when these songs came out. Let me see if there's any date. No, 1909. Named Frederick Austin. 1909, an English composer came out. Let me see. He wrote the music for it. And these are different days. But basically, the song was to teach children theology and very important parts of Christianity. So the first one was the partridge in a pear tree. A partridge in a pear tree represents Christ being crucified on the cross. That's a very important detail to Christianity. The next one is the Old and New Testament. The Old Testament. Testament is also a word that means covenant. It's the Old Covenant and the New Covenant. The Old Covenant was sacrifices to sacrifice sin, sacrifices for sin on the altar. But the final sacrifice is the New Covenant. The New Covenant is Christ. It's like the first day is Christ being crucified. The New Covenant is Christ being the final sacrifice for all of mankind, for those who have been chosen by God to be saved. Number 3 is day 3, 3 French hens. Faith, hope, and charity. Theological virtues. Faith in God, hope in God, and charity is also love. Being love and being charitable and showing love to one another. To love God and to love your neighbor as yourself. Number 4 calling birds. The 4 Gospels. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The 4 evangelists. The 4 Gospels is also in the book of Daniel. There's the 4 different creatures in the book of Daniel. Look that up. 4 living creatures in the book of Daniel. If you want to just type that into your internet browser, and it should come up, Daniel. That's the 4 calling birds. 5 golden rings. The first 5 books of the Old Testament, the Pentateuch, which gives a history of man's fall from grace. This is probably, these are not my words. This is kind of different, but the 5 golden rings is the Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. I probably didn't say it in the right order, but those are the first 5 books of the Bible. And they are very insightful to show you where we were. And then you read the New Testament, and it shows more present day. And these are like very important theological things, which I really like this song for that very fact. And people will just sing the song and get annoyed because this song is like a lot of repetition. But repetition is the way you learn. And if you match up the 12 days with the 12 days of Christmas and with your theology, then you'll be doing really well. 6 geese a lane. The 6 days of creation. Because God made heaven and the earth in the 6 days and rested on the 7th day. 7 swans of swimming, the 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit, the 7 sacraments. Well, the 7 sacraments is more of a Roman Catholic thing, or even in Catholic being universal. In Christianity, there is some sacraments that we observe, like marriage, baptism, and communion. I mean, that's just to name a couple, but there's a lot more when you're learning theology and learning about Christ and the church and Christianity, those things that are very important to know. You might not know them right away if you become a new believer, but as you grow in your faith, you're going to learn these things. 8 maids of milking, the 8 beatitudes. The beatitudes are in the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the first 4 gospels, just like the first 4 was the calling birds. But number 8 is the 8 beatitudes, the 9 ladies dancing, the 9 fruits of the Holy Spirit. The 9 fruits of the Holy Spirit. I really encourage you, if you really want to learn theology, or just start with this Christmas song and go through it. There's probably other more reliable things, because the 9 fruits of the Holy Spirit, patience and stuff like that. 10 lords of leaping, the 10 commandments. See, the law. See, this is what Christianity is about: the law and the gospel. The law is how we don't match up with the law, and the gospel is how Christ lived the perfect life in our place. That's the very significance of the 10 commandments, and the 10 commandments by itself is a very good idea to study. 11 pipers piping. The 11 pipers piping is the 11 faithful apostles, because as you know, in the story of Christ being betrayed by Judas, so there's the 11 faithful apostles. Finally, 12 drummers drumming, the 12 points of the doctrines of the apostles. The Apostles' Creed. The Apostles' Creed is another way that is kind of very simple, systematic theology, so you know what we believe and why we believe what we do. The partridge in the pear tree naturally represents Jesus Christ. The theory seems tailor-made for circulation via chain emails, but actually makes little sense. Okay, I don't know. They're going off on some other information. But the very fact of the matter is that maybe we are on the verge of the reset. The verge of the reset is more of a globalist agenda. No more theology, no more Christianity. You may think it's far-fetched, but it's like I said in my August 8th video. I think the ultimate punishment for the United States is the end of Christianity and getting rid of God. Even though you can't really get rid of God, but once you get God out of society, then you'll end up being a godless society and just living living life day by day just to get by, and there's no hope in the future. But if you look at Christmas, Christmas by itself is a symbolism for the hope in the future, because Christ came as a baby. He lived the perfect life in our place, and then he died. He died on the cross, and he rose again. And then he ascended. And Christ said that he's going to return. Then when the angels watched him ascend into heaven, I'm not even sure how that looked. It could be just like maybe disappearing into the spiritual realm, because as I said in a couple of my vloggings or my explanations, is that heaven is the spiritual realm and earth is the physical realm. So as he ascended into heaven, he probably went up and he kind of just probably transformed into, I don't know. I wasn't there. All I know is I have faith, and I know that Christ is going to return again. And that's a very, very, very important thing to understand during these days. These days are meaningless and senseless when you don't have Christ.